Welcome to Physics for Good. I'm Allison Boley, and today I want to talk about the relationship between wavelength, period, and wave speed. This is not your cue to turn off the video because you see it's an equation. A lot of times in my classes, my students will say that they are excited with the class because they finally realize, oh, there really is an application to math. This really is useful. I will use this in my life. So let's start here. This is wave speed. This V a lot of times stands for velocities. That's why it's a V. Velocity is kind of a synonym for speed. We'll get into the difference between that later. But for now, we can think of them as synonyms, velocity and speed. So we have, how do we determine that speed? Well, it's going to be equal to the wavelength, which we talked about last week, divided by the period. And we know this has to be true. If you ever have driven a car, you know that the unit that we use in America for speed is miles per hour. Well, did you know that the word per, means divided by? And so if you think about miles, that's a type of distance. And so you have a distance per divided by, and then hour, that's a type of time. So you have a distance per time. And that's the exact same thing that we've got here. The wave speed has to be the distance of the wavelength. That's the distance of one cycle divided by per the time of one cycle, which is the period. So as an example, let's take a ripple in a pond. And if we measure the distance from one crest to the next, we know that is the wavelength. And for the sake of convenience, let's say that was 8 meters. And then we also measure the time, and that took 2 seconds. Well, we know to find the wave speed, all we have to do is take the wavelength divided by the period. So that's 8 meters divided by 2 seconds. That's 4 meters per second. So the wave is traveling outward at a speed of 4 meters per second. Which brings me to my friend Carl Parrish, who is the Arizona State chapter leader for Represent Us. At first, I'll admit I was a little nervous doing a political organization, but when I saw your website, I realized there was no reason to be nervous because it's about fighting political corruption from a bipartisan manner, which I think is something we can all agree on. So
yes. So our findings has been regardless of where you land in the political spectrum. No one wants a corrupt government.
Right.
And so we are the largest grassroots organization in America.
Wow.
Fighting for anti-corruption. Awesome. We have roughly about 800,000 members, and they come from all across the political spectrum. We're a nonpartisan organization. We're working towards getting legislation for the American Anti-Corruption Act.
Cool.
And so you can find out more information about our organization at represent.us, and it also has information about the American Anti-Corruption Act there. And so we utilize science so that we can get the legislation to pass, because we already know that most people are in support of that.
Right.
So why don't we have the laws in place already?
Yeah. Oh, good question. Math is pretty much my favorite thing in the world, so I'm very excited about this Venn diagram.
Awesome. So data science is actually a convergence of 3 different fields.
Okay.
So first we have math, your favorite part.
Yay.
Now we actually utilize lots of different disciplines of math in data science, but the predominant one that will always be there will be statistics.
Okay.
Then we actually have to do the programming.
Okay.
And so we refer to that as the hacking part.
No, programming is not your cue to turn off the video either. Carl explained it like cooking. So math is like the recipe, and programming or hacking is like actually carrying out that recipe. But in order to carry out the recipe, you need to know what it means to saute or bake or whatever, and that's where the domain knowledge comes in. And so data science, at the center of these 3 things, helps them get the word out to people who want it. And it seems to pay off. In Tempe, an anti-corruption law won with 91% of the vote. Because this is Physics for Good, 50% of the ad revenue from this episode will go to Represent Us. So besides just watching this video, how can viewers help you?
So the number one thing you can do is you can go to represent.us. And so that's a little weird on the end, but it's kind of cute because it's spelled out Represent Us. If you go to represent.us, you can find out more about our organization. You can check out our YouTube videos. get more information that way, and then you can sign up. And when you sign up, it will give you information about any chapters local to you. So here in Arizona, we have about 4 different chapters, and throughout the country, we have lots and lots of chapters. I forget. I think we're up to like 200 different chapters throughout the country.
Yeah.
So find the chapter. It will tell you information about the chapter nearest you and any activities that are happening near you.
Awesome. Thank you. Thanks for watching. If you like what you just saw, please consider subscribing right here and sharing the video with a friend. Also, check out the video description where you'll find a link to the charity you just saw, as well as some affiliate links.